Hello, if you're a local business in SA and you want Vince and I to join you on site for one of our live recording sessions of our podcast Livin', please reach out to us at hello@livinpodcast.com.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for expanded reach, customer interactions, and some authentic storytelling opportunities for your brand and business.
Not to mention fun.
Of course, it's fun. So email us today at hello@livinpodcast.com or via Instagram @livin_podcast, and we'll see you on site really soon. All right, well, how are you feeling right now? Fearful? Beck, how are you feeling? Fearful?
Hungover.
Oh, brilliant.
Let's do it anyway.
What a funny thing to say.
I can't remember the last time I felt hungover, but I wish it was recently. It's coming up though. I'll give you the hot tip.
Hey, I reckon it's coming up for all of us in June. Just saying. I'm going to put it out there, all three of us.
You don't want how I feel.
You just drink your chocolate milk. It'll make everything better.
Guys, it is a Monday morning and you are back with a brand new episode of Livin' Podcast with Vince Fusco, Nancy Timpano, and Nance.
Hello.
Third microphone's in use today.
It sure is. And it's not just another episode, it's episode 99.
Oof.
We're so close.
We're getting so close.
We are so close, and we're getting close to the big one. We're getting so close that we're building it up, and what better way to build it up without a special guest, Rebecca Morse, ladies and gentlemen, on the Livin' podcast. Hi, Beck.
Hardly living today. Listen to my voice.
Barely living.
I was barely living.
living.
I was at Gather Round the Port game, which we did not expect to win, and I celebrated until about 1 a.m.
Wow, that doesn't seem too late though.
No, we were home at 1 a.m. So
Okay, not
yeah,
too bad.
yeah, nothing good happens after 2. So I was happy to be home by then.
Go you. It's a good night if I see 10 o'clock lately. So I am all for it. Well done, Beck.
I
Well
love
done.
it. Beck, thanks for joining us this morning. We're so glad to have you here. You have been all over the microphone and the airwaves yourself with your brand new podcast, In the Jeans.
Yes, and thank you for supporting that, guys.
We love it. We're so excited for
Yes.
you and Gracie. It's been such a great listen so far. You're about 10 episodes deep, which has
Yes.
been great. And,
Yeah.
that was one of the things we thought about this morning when we thought, Beck's going to be here. We should ask Beck.
Yeah.
Let's put a topic to her
While
about
you're here,
feeling the fear. Because for you, it was something that you've stepped outside of maybe your comfort zone,
Yeah.
going from TV to radio and now to a podcast. Tell us a little bit about that for
I
you.
think the main fear for me is just like I've always had a team around me. Like I've always had producers or a boss and now I'm my own boss
yeah.
and I answer to myself and it's all on my shoulders. Like I live
Yeah.
and die by it. And that is very scary.
Scary, but there's a lot of positive in that because you
Yeah.
please you,
Yes.
but it's getting your head around the change.
Yeah. And it's so lovely not to have the morning alarm and be able to record to our own schedule. But yeah, I'm still, it's still early days and I'm still scared that it might fail.
But what are you going what's the possibility that people don't listen? But
Yeah.
the rawness and realness of your podcast, like ours, I think is we're getting it out.
Yeah.
And I think that's really good. It's good for you. It's therapeutic,
Definitely,
regardless of the listens. And then when
Yes.
people listen and give you the feedback,
Yeah.
especially like even your teaser that, came up on Instagram, my God, come on,
mother
that
guilt.
exploded
Yeah.
with feedback because you kept it real, you kept it raw, and you're just saying what a lot of people have thought over the years.
Yeah. And I think working with Grace, it has been therapeutic for us. We actually did one whole episode that she didn't want to air where she sort of said a lot of stuff about her like childhood and stuff that that I wasn't aware of, stuff that I'd done or hadn't done. And so it's been like therapy on the
Yes.
microphone for the two of us. So if nothing else, I think it will bring us closer together.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So look, there's nothing to lose and much to gain, I think.
I
in
think
this
so.
realm, that's for sure.
Well, look, I think it's something that a lot of people do feel that fear when it comes to stepping outside of your comfort zone. That looks very different for a lot of people. It could be as easy as standing in front of a class or a room full of colleagues to say a few words. It could
Yeah.
be, making a phone call that you don't want to make, which a lot of people, I think, these days don't do the phone call anymore. Have you noticed
Yeah.
that?
No, they text.
They
Yeah.
text, but that's problematic
Or
because you
email
sort of intention and the interpretation can be
Yes.
so mixed up in that.
Yeah.
And I'm someone who loves a phone call because I think you can solve a problem in about 30 seconds
Yes.
with a quick
Yeah.
chat, either face to face or online or on the phone versus a text
I
conversation
actually
back and forth.
even prefer the voice memo because you
We're
can
bad
hear
at that, though.
you can hear what you're trying to get across.
Yeah.
Easy, So the voice memo, I don't think is a bad thing. But the other thing sometimes, and we're talking about the fear and doing it anyway, sometimes having that thread is nice for proof. If something goes pear-shaped, it's like, but you said.
That's actually a really good point, Nance, because
You know?
receipts are the slang of the day, isn't it? Like, oh, they've got the receipts. And I know for myself, I've got receipts because I'm diligent in my bookkeeping, if you will.
Wow.
Okay.
This
But I
sounds
never
very-
use them. But I never use them, Beck.
Like, how many fights are you guys having on the text?
We're Italians though, so I guess like
We're
between
not.
no, not
Luckily.
us. No, but I never pull receipts out unless I absolutely have to, and even then, I'm still fearful to do that because I feel this. And my therapist will agree with me. My biggest problem is moral injustice.
Yeah.
So like, I feel like everyone knows if you know you're doing wrong by someone or if you're taking advantage of it, you know that. So how do you sleep at night? Whereas for me, I'm like, I shouldn't have to prove that you did that or you said that. You know it already.
Yeah.
And that irritates me with that. But
Yeah.
that's a little off topic with feeling the fear today. A little off topic.
Another fear I have, and we spoke about it briefly before we started recording, is I have a fear of interviews. I'm terrible, and I think I've mentioned it. Oh
What do you
my
mean?
God, I'm terrible. Give me 3 people on a panel in an interview. I mean, I'm not me doing the interview.
I like a job interview. or
I'm
something.
saying if I was to go for a job interview, I am awful because I find it really hard to sell myself. Whereas give me 10,000 people and I just look over their heads.
Yeah.
Hi, how you going?
that's
Not an
fair.
issue. But me in an interview, I'm like, I've got to go in and go, hi, I'm Nancy and I'm really good at stuff. Hire me.
Hire me.
When was the last time you had a job interview?
True.
I would be the same. I wouldn't know how to sell myself.
But sometimes I don't have a fear in asking for something. Like today, would you mind doing something for me? I can ask, and then if it's a no, it's a no. No hard feelings, people. But I have a fear in like MC work, whatever, putting myself forward and go, you should choose me because
Yeah. Is that
it's
just
like
a
just
performer thing though?
I just want the phone to ring.
Yeah, I know. I'm a bit the same.
You know?
All of my jobs have always, apart from when I first left uni, they've always come to me.
Yes.
And now I'm in a position where I have to put myself out there. And I've already sent out a couple of texts.
Yes.
And nothing has come from them. And then
Yeah.
I take that very personally.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's wrong with me?
See?
And is that hard to separate though, Beck? We were talking a little bit before about like when you're the product.
Yeah.
For example, especially like yourself, like you're a profile, you're a media personality, people
Yeah.
know you, and when you're selling yourself, how do you not take it personally?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're really putting yourself out there. And even when I was in radio, like I had a team around me.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, maybe it wasn't me they didn't like. But now it's like, oh, it's pretty much me and my daughter. And
Yes.
and you're selling yourself. And it is really
Look
scary.
at your
I
body.
know, my
That's
body
Your body language
Exactly.
says it all, yeah.
I feel you because that's exactly how I feel.
So I've been struggling a long time with self-promotion because I've always been told not to be too big, too loud, too bright, right? And I think a lot of us get that sometimes when we're growing up.
I think it's very Australian as well, tall poppy.
Tall
Yes.
poppy.
Australians don't want other Australians to succeed.
Yeah,
They want
yeah.
everyone to be on the same level. They
Yeah.
want us to be self-deprecating and
Yeah.
humble, which is
Yes.
great. And they're qualities that I think all of us have here.
Yeah.
But you think about Americans, how they bloody promote themselves.
You just took the words out of my
Yeah.
mouth. I spent some time in America about 15 years ago now. And you sort of, we have this vision of America being like, you know, the world leaders and they're the best. When you look at TV, reality is probably not the best place to look, but I'm talking about like the talent shows, for example. And I always think of like So You Think You Can Dance was a great example. You watch the technical ability and the skill set of these people, unbelievably talented
Yeah.
people, right? And they've worked incredibly hard at their craft. You watch the Australian version, not to take away from the talent levels here, great. But it's not as like refined. But going to America, being in the room with those people, they from the get-go, they walk in like they are the shit.
Yeah.
They walk in with this
Yeah.
air of like, I can do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's that belief that I think actually pushes them to that other level. Whereas
Yeah.
here, like you said, it's that, well, hang on, let's cut them at the knees because they're doing a bit well. We want to bring them back down to the
Yeah.
earth, bring them back down to the ground level
Yeah.
with us.
Yeah.
And I've experienced that a lot in my life, growing up, particularly like with performing arts. As a boy, I was always constantly brought back down to earth. Remember who
You're
you
a
are.
theatre kid.
Hardcore, Beck.
How did I not know this? That makes so
Hardcore.
much
Yeah.
sense now.
Both of us, really.
Theatre, ballroom dancing, tap, jazz, ballet. Like I was there front and center from the age of 3, and I love it. And but also like that was the thing that sort of made me shy away. So whilst people always say to me, and I say it now every weekend, I'm like, God, I hate people. And they're like, but you're around people all the time. And I'm like, yeah, but it's also like a job to do. I can be a performer. I can have an ordinary day, a rough day, and then go turn it on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then there's this element in me that's like,
Yeah.
don't shine too bright. And only recently, really, have I been I've been returning to myself, if you will.
We're going deep.
We're going to go a bit deep.
We're going deep.
And I talked about it a few weeks on the podcast. I haven't had a great time over the
Yeah.
last quarter of this year mentally. I've had a few things going on. I've found myself mentally struggling,
Yeah.
which is my anxiety and stuff like that. And that's relatively new as an adult for me. But it's the return to myself and going, you know what? I'm bloody great at all these things that
Yeah.
I've worked so hard at.
Yeah.
What is the worst case? And going back to like your part about the podcast, like the fear of it. The worst case
What's
is
the worst thing that could happen?
no one listens.
We
or
do it for a year. We learn stuff. We
Yeah.
stop. Yeah. I
Callers
know.
can't call in. Don't worry about it. They can't call in.
But like, I get worried about overexposing myself, not just from like a personal, but then I guess the brand of Vince Fusco and the podcast or whatever we do. But I'm always like, I don't want people to feel like I'm selling them stuff all the time. I don't want to be in their face all the time. But what's actually the worst that could happen? Because by shying away and doing that, I'm actually hindering
Yeah.
my own,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
my journey, where I want to go, what I want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got to be by design.
But today, it has to be, if we didn't have Instagram, like so many people wouldn't exist. We wouldn't know of them.
Yeah.
They would exist, but we wouldn't know of them because people are daily selling themselves
Yeah.
on this platform. And I find it hard. I can do a post after, like, because I've done the work. Hey, here I am. I'm doing it. But I can't go, oh, well, here I am and you should get me because blah, 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 blah. It's like, oh, nah.
Yeah.
Nah, two different
Definitely.
ways of, I don't know, expressing
Well,
yourself.
start doing it, Nancy. Just start doing it.
No, I don't know. I don't know.
I
don't know.
struggle with it because I don't like doing it while I'm doing it. I feel
Yes.
like I'm a bit like
That's
I would-
that's what I mean.
Well, then
I
you're
can
not
do
being
it-
present at the,
Yes.
at the gig, are you?
Yeah.
That's what I can
Using
do
that time.
after. I can say,
I actually
look
thought
what I
that
did.
this weekend
Yes.
about like we do a lot of social media with Entertainment Adelaide every
Yeah.
week at these weddings, but I've only just really felt it the other night when I was rewatching all the stories that I've put up, and I was like, I'm filming it and I'm watching it as an audience member, but am I present?
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I love about being at these weddings is
Yeah.
I am present, I'm connected.
Yeah.
So when I find myself actually just being a video man, content creator for the night,
Yeah.
I'm like, this is why I don't like doing it. And
Yeah.
especially when it comes to
Yes.
like my own work or what we do during the week.
Yeah.
I almost feel like if we had a camera person doing that, different story.
Yeah.
Have someone else
Absolutely.
do it for us.
And do you know what I love when I've done events, and Beck, I don't know, you might be the same, I really, really appreciate it, is if I had a professional in the room taking photos of me doing these events, you'd actually know just how much I have done. But there's so many I've missed because I haven't done that, or I haven't liked the photo that I've taken of myself side stage, so I haven't used it and I haven't put it out there. But when someone takes a photo of me in action
Yeah.
and puts it up and tags me, I'm like, oh, they saw me. They thought that was, and I am very conscious of doing that for fellow people in the industry. If I'm at an
You
event,
are very good with that. You are.
if I see you, if I see Jared, if I see Rosie at an event doing something, I'm like, look at them.
Yeah, you
And-
do that.
But I'm saying I do it because, like, I don't know, I appreciate because then I don't have to do the self-promote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It takes away the self-promote and it's a legitimate, look at this chick, she's at this event and look what she's doing.
Yeah.
It makes it a lot nicer for me.
You have to behave like what I'm learning from Grace, my 21-year-old. You have to think like someone in their 20s.
Yeah.
They don't even think twice about. I mean, I think there's a happy medium. I don't think we should be raising. I think we need to be raising confident kids,
Yes. Yeah.
and not arrogant kids. And then
Yeah.
you've got to just find. And she's just so confident.
Yeah.
I'm like, why don't I have the confidence of a 21-year-old?
I know. They all have their, it's inbuilt.
But where does it
They're
come? It
born
has to
with
come
it.
from somewhere. And I say that about like my 6-year-old. I've said it many times, like he's braver than I am in so many ways.
Yeah.
But then I think back when I'm like, I was just talking about my childhood. At the age of 6, I'd already recorded and released like a cassette single. This is so random. Cassette, right? I had already been like traveling, performing, which is crazy. And I think about that and I go, well, the discipline that I had and the focus and whatnot is not normal for a 6-year-old.
Yeah.
No.
And that's what I now am realizing as a parent, where I'm like, how much pressure do I put or not? And we talked about it last week with who's the teacher, who's the coach. But it's the idea of like, how do I build a confident kid without then hindering that? But I don't want him to be fearful of things. But I can't do it because when he does things, I'm like, oh, don't do it. Oh,
Yeah, but obviously you have to let them fail. And,
Yeah.
and resilience is such a buzzword, but your kids need to be. That's why when you talk about those talent shows, you know, these kids turn up to audition and they are terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously they've had a parent who's told them their whole life they're amazing.
Yeah.
And it's like, but you're not.
Yeah.
And at some point you're going to
Someone
find
else
that
is
out
gonna
in the
tell
real
you,
world.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Absolutely. And you're talking about the cassettes, and I've mentioned it before, the VHS. And to date, because I still have all these shows that I've done and I've travelled the world as well in theatre, like it's like my son doesn't even know. We went to the Festival Theatre a couple of weeks ago to see Sister Act. And I said, just, off the cuff, I said, oh my gosh, I remember when I used to perform here that this theatre felt huge. And now I didn't grow that much, but it doesn't feel as big anymore. And my son looked at me and he goes, Mum, have you performed here?
yeah.
And I was like, oh, he doesn't even know.
Love that.
Like I haven't even, so I need to back out these VHS cassettes on tour with Young Talent Time and see little Nancy with Joey D on stage. We need to explore these
Feel the
avenues.
fear. And I think back to like being a kid and feeling that fear, but I didn't feel the fear as a kid. My mum and dad and my teachers would just push me on stage and I'd just do it.
Yeah.
Whereas now I'm very well aware. Growing up has jaded me to some degree.
Yeah.
Besides, like, I guess for you, Beck, what are some of the other things in your career or even your life that you felt the fear and you've done it anyway and you're glad you did?
Well, the funny thing is probably being a TV newsreader, that was the least nervous that I ever was, because it was very structured and very auto-cued, and it would be a live cross if I ever had to do anything. The most terrifying thing I've ever done, and we spoke about it in our podcast, was being on the project. And
I remember your build up to that. You were so nervous.
I was the most nervous I've ever been. I didn't sleep for the week before, but I couldn't prep for it.
Yeah.
Because you don't know.
Yes.
And I stuffed it up. I choked. I did one episode fine, and the second episode I completely.
It's such an
I'm
amazing
sure
listen
I saw
on the
those
podcast.
episodes
I'm not
because
even.
you did not
No,
choke.
but you wouldn't have known it was my stuff up. I froze and I forgot to ask my question, and so there was like 3 seconds of dead air.
And to you, a lifetime.
A lifetime.
A
And I
lifetime.
was like, it's my question. And I actually froze. And Sarah Harris, the host, had to jump in and ask my question, and they never had me back. So I was like, I feel like I was so nervous that it actually impeded my performance. And I kept thinking, muscle memory is going to kick in and I'm just going to be fine. And it didn't. So it's like, what's the worst that can happen? That.
Yeah.
But that's also the worst.
Yeah,
Do you know what
exactly.
I mean? Like, and
I know.
it is. I totally get it. Like you feel rubbish in that
Oh my
moment,
God.
and you want the world to swallow you
And
up.
there was half the show still to go, and the whole time I was just sitting there going, oh my God, you've blown it. And I had to just keep pushing through.
The project, if you don't want Rebecca Morse back on your project for a 3-second pause, let's talk. Because we want to see more of her on the big screen.
I want to
sorry.
agree with her daughter Gracie as well, who said, "Find me another Adelaide presenter who's been on the project though."
Yeah, and so I
Totally.
guess it's on my resume now.
Absolutely.
And the good thing about resumes is you don't have to say.
breaks my
Just read
heart.
that.
It actually breaks my heart hearing, that fear and the fact that in your head you think, oh, they've never had me back. And it's
Yeah.
like, we can't have a 3-second null and void moment, like, because freaking I'm hormonal and there's a shitload of them going on at the moment. Many times we're recording and my eyes go like this.
The brain fog.
The brain fog is so real. But, okay, here's slightly digressing is when I'm doing work now and
Yeah.
I feel like you had felt in that moment, I know that, fuck Nancy, I've gone blank. I've
Yeah.
gone blank.
It's
And then if I don't get called up again, I'm thinking,
It
is
was
that
that.
why I didn't get called back? Because I legitimately have brain fog at the moment like you wouldn't believe.
Like walking into a room and not remembering what you're doing in
Yeah,
there. I
yeah,
stay
yeah,
here
yeah.
for something. Or I pick up my phone because I'm wanting to Google something and
Yeah.
I'm like, what did I pick it up for?
Yeah,
What was I about
but
to do?
it's so real, and I kind of feel like, oh God, Nance, some days when I'm doing a gig and it's like, it's not the day to stuff it up, but I can't help it. And it's not that I don't know how to do it. just had a moment.
Yeah, but we're our own worst critics. Like
Exactly.
well, for a start, nobody knew that was my stuff up except for me. But other ones, like little stuff ups that you do and go, oh my God, I'm sorry, I said that person's name wrong. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, we didn't even notice.
Oh,
and you
yeah.
just draw attention
Yeah.
to
That was
it.
me a few weeks ago at a wedding, and literally like I have such good muscle memory in it,
Yeah.
and I will put myself under pressure.
Yeah.
But this one night in particular, I was like so amped up, and I was like, I'm prepared, I'm clear, I'm ready, and everything's going smooth. And I introduce this next couple coming out, and they come out and they're dancing, and then everyone looks at me and they go, "That's not them." And I went, "What do you mean?" And then I look and I realised I've read a name below. The wrong names. But then again, I draw it. No one else knows that.
No.
But I've drawn the attention to it myself and
Yeah.
gone,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, everybody. This is not them. This is actually Michaela and Chris. Sorry about that.
Oh dear, yeah, names are awful for me right now. They have been for a good 18 months. Names
Only
are
18 months, Nance. That's not bad.
No,
I feel like
come
it's
on.
I feel like
As
it's,
in like remembering people's names when you see them.
Yeah. No, not that. It's just like, oh, so we've got Rebecca Morse on the show today. Okay, Rebecca Morse. Okay. Hi, everyone. Today we've got this beautiful young lady. Yes, we do. And I'm like,
and she's nudging me. I'm Nancy's bag man. Often, like when we do public events, like, and I'll say historically, I won't say recently, but historically, when we would do big public events and stuff, I'd be like the president keeper behind her, walking along, be like, "This is Rebecca Morse coming up.
Yeah.
She has 3 daughters. She's married to James Waker."
Yeah.
Give the history so that she knows what's going on.
That's like in
Yeah.
The Devil Wears Prada.
oh my
Yes, that's me. I'm Stanley
God.
Tucci.
Yes.
But it's, look, okay, all right. I didn't know it was bad from day dot. But the last
This is
18
gonna be in the
months.
debrief, guys. Oh.
No. The last 18 months, it's extra. It's a thing. So if you're booking for me for an event, I will give it 100%, people.
always do.
100%.
150%. Nance, come on.
150%. But hey, women go through things.
What about you? What's your, like, besides the self-promotion, anything else you get fearful of that you've gone and done it?
Well, it's those things. It is an interview, but even okay, we just spoke about Instagram earlier. But if you know how much I love to share my wins.
You love to share the
I
wins.
love sharing wins.
True.
I won't keep it in. You go, oh, you look amazing. I'll go, oh, here, take it. That's how
No gatekeeping.
No
No,
gatekeeping,
no.
yeah.
So, sometimes it doesn't happen often, but every now and then I'll do a little post that, like, look what I picked up, and that's not really me.
Yeah.
But I also just want to share it.
Share it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
So I do, that's where I feel the fear and do it anyway, because I must be having a confident day. They don't happen often. So if I'm having one, I'll quickly post. And then I'll go back in about a week and cringe, and I'll be like, oh, can't believe you did that, and hide from grid archive. But sometimes I will, that's probably my thing. Doing those sorts of posts and just self-promotion is huge for me. Like being able to do that, biggest fear. Biggest fear.
Okay.
Well, do you have any fears, like as a mother? You know how I talked about mother guilt. Do you fear messing up being a mum?
Yes, I do. I have always had, I always say how I put Jaden, my son, in cotton wool from the day he was born.
Contextually, though, it makes sense, though.
Yes, but like I went through, hell to have him.
Yeah.
The day he was born, I nearly lost him.
I didn't know that.
Yes, and then I went through, every 3 months holding him under the anaesthetic while he's going under to have a procedure done. And he's fine. But as a mother, and he's looking at me going, are you going to do something? And I'm just holding him while they put him to sleep and sort him out. And so because he had so many issues as a baby, I wouldn't leave him with anyone. I wouldn't let them feed him because he could choke in a second. And so I just kept him in cotton wool for like 6 years until he started school and whatever. And so because I really do baby him, so to speak, there's been a few times that I've gone away from work interstate. And if you just home, I'm okay with it, no problems. He's in good hands and whatever. But if Huge isn't home and I know that Jaden isn't getting his usual things that I do for him, I freak out and I feel guilty that I'm leaving him out of his comfort zone. I have massive mother guilt when I leave him to work. It's not like I'm leaving him to go on a girls' trip.
But it's more because you feel like he's not getting what he needs or what you would provide him. It sounds like that more so than maybe like the mother guilt of work, for example.
Yeah,
To quote
no,
back,
but I
feel
do
like it's a
feel
wasted
it is
emotion.
a mother guilt of it is a mother guilt of working, because when I'm working in what I love what I'm doing, so while I'm having the time of my life yet working, he's at home going,
But he might not be. He might be having the
I
time
know,
of his life
but
at
that's
Nonda's
what I'm
house.
saying. I do have
Yeah.
those moments. There's
Get
my
that.
guilt that I'm actually, yes, I'm working, but I'm having the time of my life.
But also when you said it's not like I'm going on a girls' trip,
Yeah.
you shouldn't feel guilty about that either because that's fulfilling you as a mother and as a woman.
But I feel like because I've begun his life in this cotton wool,
Yeah.
I'm doing this. No one's doing that to me. I'm doing
But is
it.
that sustainable for you? You're going to do that all the way? Like
No, I already said to the school mums, can't wait for him to go on camp because that's our first girls' trip. When's camp?
it's coming up though. Year 5 camp,
It is
right?
year
It's
5 camp.
Getting ready for it.
And I'm like, girls, when Jaden goes on camp, then I feel safe. He's away, I'm away. It's all good. It's all good. But yeah, I bring these things onto myself.
That's tricky though, but it'll build resilience in him.
Yes,
That's what we were
I
talking
know.
about before as well. And
Yeah.
I guess like the parenting guilt is a funny one. And Beck, you talked about it on your episode last week as well. And you really hit a chord with so many audience members, mothers particularly.
Yeah. Thank
I will say as a male listener, I get it. And I've
Yeah.
had that repeatedly. I don't know if I've told you the story, but one of my former employers actually said to me one day, "You're a very committed father." And I said, "What does that mean?" Thank you. Like,
Yeah,
what a wonderful thing to
Yes.
hear. And he said, "Oh, I can just, it can take you out of the office a little bit, and you do a lot for your family. You always look after Joya and the boys, and it can take you out of the office every now and then." Now, mind you, this is post-COVID. We'd already been home for 2 years.
Yeah.
Higher efficiencies, higher productivity, higher profitability, working point 8. But to hear that, and I said, okay, well, have I ever dropped the ball? He said, no, never.
Yeah.
I said, has my work been impacted? He said, no, never. I said, so what are you really saying?
Yeah.
He said, oh, no, it can take you out of the office, but I feel like I want you here more for visibility for the team, because when you're not here, I feel like their energy drops. And I was like, okay. I would rather have on my tombstone, I've said this famously many times to people,
Yeah.
I would rather have on my tombstone committed father
Yes.
than was in the office 5 days a week.
It's so true.
And,
Yeah.
and I've heard it a little bit this last couple of months, and it's probably because it has been a very busy time for me. I've had people in almost every aspect of my life say to me, do your boys miss you? Are they used to you going away? Are your boys used to you not being there? And when I heard that, I was like, well, hang on. You don't know if
No.
I'm not there or not.
Yeah.
You just
Exactly.
see me out at work.
Yeah.
But as a dad, I'm also like, I know I want to be involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I, by design, by working for myself,
Yeah.
I get 8 hours a day with my kids. How good's that? And
Yeah.
a full work day by design.
Yeah.
So it might be 6 a.m. to 9 school drop-offs and then 3 o'clock till bedtime. But that's 8 hours
Yeah.
that I spend with my boys.
Yeah.
And people go to me, actually, someone mentioned it last week, actually, someone we know, who said, do your kids miss you on the Saturday nights? And I said, well, yes and no. I said, they go to bed at 7:30
Yeah.
and they're young. But I figure as well, like, this isn't forever.
Yeah.
You've got to make hay while the sun's shining, right?
Yeah.
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 But just to hear it reflected, oh, you must be very busy. Your boys are used to you going away. I was like, that does suck.
Yeah. I'm kind of glad though that you are being asked that question because I think traditionally
I agree. I do agree.
That you wouldn't ever ask men that. So I
Yeah.
think maybe it's changing to the point where we do acknowledge that parenting is, a 50-50 proposition.
Totally
Yeah.
agree. And I always say, like, it's easy for me because to me, my family is number one.
Yeah.
Everything
And you
else
know
will
that.
fall
Yeah.
second to that. So people will say, oh, do you miss stuff? And I'll say, yeah, I don't miss my family things. I will miss other things.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'll miss a work event. If people say, can you work? And if it's my kid's birthday or something, I say, no.
No.
Everything falls second to them.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Beck, have you ever had, because I've got a story that goes with this, but have you ever had, like, whether it's news reading, radio, whatever, that you've had annual leave and someone stepped in to fill your spot? Have you ever had that fear that you're going to be replaced?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, I have on maternity leave to the point where, and I did mention that as well, I came back when Frankie was 5 months old and I wasn't ready and I had to stop breastfeeding as well.
Oh, I've got the same story.
Yeah.
Oh, tell it.
It was a real fear. It was I'm just not sure I should give a
Okay.
colleague who was actively campaigning for my job.
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
that's even
And
That's a bit
tricky.
different. It wasn't in my head.
It hurts more, doesn't it?
It was
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, this is, yeah. That's my biggest regret probably. I wish that then I had the confidence to go, this is my job. I'm going to take a year.
Yeah.
But I didn't. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I
hard.
wow, that's exactly mine. I remember, firstly, I mean, lots of our listeners know that, Vince and I worked together at the Royal Show for many years. We would interview
Yeah,
you
that's where I
back in
met
the day.
you.
You told me I had
Yeah.
nice calves. I'll never forget it. Anyway, do you
baby
cycle?
calves.
She
The
said,
baby
do you
calves.
cycle? And I was like, no. And she goes, your calves. And I was like, wow, Rebecca Morse likes my calves.
I don't remember that.
Well, I do, Beck.
Sorry.
You should remember
Sorry, I
it.
mean, you do have
I'll
great
show you my
calves.
calves after. But I remember firstly coming to the time that we were trying to have Jaden and struggling. And I thought, oh my God, what if something happens during Royal Show time? Because I loved that gig. I did it for 22, 23 years consecutively. And I thought, what if? So I remember having a meeting with our event manager going, hey, I'm thinking about, what if? And he was like, Nancy, it's okay. I will have you pregnant on the stage. It's all right. But I had that absolute fear that what if I missed a season of the show and they never got me back? I had massive fear. And there was actually one year that he allowed me, the event manager, there was a conference that I really wanted to go for, Tony Robbins, where I walked on the hot coals and did one of his Sydney seminars. And it was during Royal Show. And I said, is it Anzac Day? No,
Oh my God,
that's
there's
a
a
bit early.
bugler outside.
What is happening?
That's what happens when you sends me flowers. There's like a big announcement. No, the flowers will arrive shortly. Not. That was very odd. That was very odd. Where was I? What was I saying with this? Quick.
You went to Anthony Robbins.
you
I
walked
went to,
on the
that's
coals.
right. So I wanted to go to the seminar, but it was during
Show season.
the show season. So I said to him, look,
Vince just prompting you.
Producer.
Anyway, I said, look, I want to go to this thing, but it's going to take me away from the show for 2 to 3 days. And I remember him getting a replacement for those 2 to 3 days. And while I was at Anthony Robbins, I was half concentrating there, but half concentrating, what is she like? What is she like? And I just remember coming back and going, she was good, but Nance, we really missed you. And I was like, oh, phew, I live to see another day. But the fear's real.
The fear is real. And
The fear's real.
I will also say, I think I've witnessed it very clearly, the difference between men and women's confidence.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
And as
Yeah.
someone who's been in managerial positions, competitive positions with both men and women, we're definitely stronger to go in and say, this is what I want, this is what I
Yes.
deserve.
Yeah.
And I really feel like that's such a rubbish point because there's nothing stopping women from saying that other than what we have put out there as this society to say, no, this is a man's world,
Yeah.
which is crap.
Yeah.
It's absolutely crap.
Yeah.
So like how hard, because I feel like that competitive streak of like replacing somebody, I feel that on the other side as in like I've been the replacement where they've called me up and said, we want you to take over this role.
Yep.
And then I feel awful
Yes.
for doing that.
Yes.
Not intentionally, but like I've
That's
been
a hard
asked.
one
So
as well,
I've
really
contacted
hard.
those people and said, hey, look, I want you to know, like I would never
Yeah.
step on toes like
I
that.
think that's so kind of you to do that because I've had people who have not done that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm the same, but sometimes I think it's to our detriment because we might not get the next gig that they
Yeah.
were planning on. But like we say many times, we sleep at night.
100%.
But I've had recently, last year, I had another fellow MC who wasn't available for a job and put me up, and I was how grateful, like so grateful. And then this organisation came back to use me for another event, and the first thing in my email I said, is so-and-so available because you originally got me because they were not.
Yeah, that's
and
great.
she said, no, we have already, we would love to have you back. And I couldn't do it.
I couldn't do it.
I couldn't do it.
Plenty of
So,
people,
yeah.
plenty of people do that.
I know. Yeah. And there's sometimes people say, did you see so-and-so do that? And I'm thinking, yeah, I know how they got it too. But you just got to let it go and go,
and
good
then
on
you-
them.
But then you hope that they respect your integrity,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that makes them value you more.
Yeah. No, I will always will do it that way. That's how we roll.
Can I sidestep us very quickly? We've talked a lot about like these feeling the fear and doing it anyway in like a professional sense.
Yeah.
Do you have any fears, like irrational fear? Not irrational, but like are you afraid of sharks? Are you afraid of, I don't know, getting in deep water?
I have a recurring dream about an elevator dropping in a shaft.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm a little bit weird in an elevator because I've had the dream so many times. It must mean something.
I've been stuck in an elevator once
Have you?
for an hour and a half with 4 other people.
Oh.
And it was like, it only goes to one floor and we were stuck between floors.
No.
And it was the year 2001. And I just remember that being an awful experience. Just being
Yeah, the
in such,
claustrophobia.
oh God, it's real.
And did anyone need to go to the toilet?
No, but one guy just kept farting. But thank goodness someone else had Maltesers and someone kept farting. So we ended up just,
Oh my
that's
God.
all I remember from it.
You realise that it was the Maltesers making you fart?
Oh.
Hello?
Loves a Malteser though.
Bloody
Hang on, so
hell.
did you know the one who was farting?
Yeah. It was my schoolmates. There
It
was
was
four
one
of
of
us.
four, Beck. Come on. He had a 25% chance of getting
Pretty good odds. Pretty good odds. I almost want to be like it might have been me. No.
Wow.
But like so like that recurring dream. I used to have a recurring dream of going through a house, and I would get to the same room every night, and I would wake up, and that was like this happened between like 15 and 22 for years. This recurring dream, and it made me so fearful of, and there was a black cat in it too. So I was always scared of black cats. That's a very irrational fear. But
Okay.
and white faces, I have a really crazy fear of. Do you know those
Like mime artists.
no, but like plain white. You know those masks that are just plain white.
Oh, right.
I used to have this dream, and in high school, my
Les Mis, how'd you go?
in
Depends which way you
in
go.
high school, friends of mine caught wind of this. I told one of my friends in confidence, and then I remember being in the drama room, and they burst in at lunchtime wearing these masks, holding bats, and screaming, "Get on the ground! Get on the!" Oh
my God.
I was under a table crying.
Yeah, no.
And then at my buck show, this is going back now 10 years, my buck show, when I got on the bus, they were all wearing the fucking white mask too. Gosh, I haven't thought about that in years. I'm reliving the trauma
There you go, there's
as we speak.
Yes.
Oh,
I have
God.
those dreams where, someone's chasing me or someone's come into the bedroom or something and I can't scream. And I'm and I can't hear any noise, and that's petrifying. I'm like, what if that was to happen? I need to make noise. Anyone would hear me if I scream.
I so badly want to psychoanalyze all three
I
of us,
know,
if I
I
can.
think-
So, Beck, I feel like you're worried about the floor dropping out from under you.
Oh my God, that makes sense.
I'm worried about a loss of identity
With the what?
with the what, because I don't
Face,
know
there's
who it
no-
is. There's
oh
no
my
identity. So to me, I'm a bit scared of that.
And I'm scared of
losing
speaking
your,
up.
and losing your voice. Guys,
Oh my God, we've had a breakthrough.
Wow.
this is therapy.
This is living.
This is living, guys. I'm totally on board
I
with that.
think that's okay. I reckon we end this episode and
Oh,
we
just a
keep
strong finish there?
psychoanalyzing. I think there's more.
There's
I
so
think-
many more. I love that.
Oh my gosh.
A dreams episode. You have to
A
have another
dreams episode.
Oh, I don't know if I want to hear all the dreams.
So
I
again, Nancy and the innuendo. She loves it. Beck, it has been such a joy to have you on with us today. Thank you so much for joining us last minute. We so appreciate
You've helped
it.
cure my hangover as well. I feel better.
See, that's all it took was a good chat with some good people, bit of chocolate coconut water, and away we go, guys.
I think last time we were together, we spoke about being on the couch. It's always a couch episode.
It's true. It's true. It's true. Well, and again, you can catch Beck every Wednesday and Gracie on their episodes of In the Jeans.
Yes.
Edited by Vince.
Absolutely.
Their sister podcast. We love them.
Yeah,
We love
and you can
them.
hear our voices at the very start. That's us.
That's us.
Because we love you and we love your podcast and we wish you
you.
all the very best. And have no fear, Beck.
Yeah.
The world is
Used
yours.
to no fear. And you start self-promoting more, Nancy.
Hi, I'm Nancy. It's been 30 seconds since my
Maybe
last
don't.
post.
Maybe stop.
I love it.
That's why she
Sound
doesn't do it.
advice. Sound advice.
Let's workshop that.
She needs that voice. Got to workshop the voice now.
the sky, find the sun on a cloudy day, on a cloudy day.